Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good today. Welcome to ID Talk TV. In this video, I will take you around some of the latest happening in football. Nicolas Jackson agent talking about Diomansy Kamara have spoken out. What did he actually say? Is it in response to what Uli Hoeneß, talking about the former Bayern Munich president, said about Nicolas Jackson's deal? In this video, we're going to take a look at what Nicolas Jackson agents have said. Check this out via his Instagram post. Many talks, but few tells the truth. That's not the topic today. Our only priority is Senegal's decisive match for World Cup qualification. This is a crucial moment for the entire nation. Our path, our ethics, and our way of working are known, first as footballers and today as advisors to African players. It is time for sacred union. The rest will be dealt with later in due time. End of story. A couple of days ago, Uli Hoeneß granted an interview in one of the German media stations, and he actually said a lot of things. First, he said Nicolas Jackson's permanent deal to Bayern Munich cannot happen. Invariably meaning, at the end of Nicolas Jackson's loan spell with Bayern Munich, he will be returning back to Chelsea. Uli Hoeneß further went on to say that the loan deal agreed between Chelsea and Bayern Munich to be 16.5 million euros was not actually what it is. That FC Bayern Munich pays 13.5 million euros and Nicolas Jackson and his agent pays the remaining 3 million euros. In my previous video, I actually said something about that. It is not against FIFA rule for players to actually buy out his contract. But at this point in time, if what he says is taken to be true, that Nicolas Jackson and his agent paid 3 million euros to actually force that move to happen at Bayern Munich. And that simply means that the problem is not about Nicolas Jackson, the problem is his agent. And I can say that Nicolas Jackson is badly managed. Because at that point in time, there is no doubt that Nicolas Jackson is currently on loan to FC Bayern Munich. But the agents ought to know better that Nicolas Jackson is still tied down to contract at Chelsea Football Club. So he ought to have managed this player in such a way that even if the deal did not actually go through permanently next season, Nicolas Jackson can actually return back to Chelsea and still be part of the Chelsea team, even if he went on to play a year, because definitely his hard work is what will definitely pay off for him, and other clubs will definitely come for him and want to have him. But as it is now, his agent, his advisors have all led Nicolas Jackson to a point that even if Nicolas Jackson finishes his loan spell at FC Bayern Munich, I don't see Nicolas Jackson staying in Chelsea, because his word will definitely come back to haunt him. And what did Nicolas Jackson say? Nicolas Jackson said that he don't see himself returning back to London, and that he doesn't want to play for Chelsea ever again. And that is not the kind of statement a footballer should be making. So at this point in time, the problem is not about Nicolas Jackson. The problem is about his agent. Nicolas Jackson is badly managed, and that is what I have to say in all of this. Uli Hoeneß came out to say so many things. And what Nicolas Jackson's agent, Diomansy Kamara, is coming out to say is that some will tell the truth and some doesn't. But they actually know what the truth is. What is the truth that you know? If the former president of a football club, who is currently a board member in the decision room, come out to say all of this, I don't know who is actually saying the truth, who is lying and who is saying the truth. The man have actually come out to say that he doesn't see Nicolas Jackson's permanent move to FC Bayern Munich happening. In fact, it can't happen because of the stringent conditions that is attached to such obligation to buy. And what is the condition that Bayern Munich former president actually came out to rule out? He said Nicolas Jackson has to start 40 games for FC Bayern Munich. DFB Pokal is not part of the competition to be counted as games that Nicolas Jackson will play. It only has to do with Bundesliga and Champions League football. And of a truth, I don't see that happening, because currently Bundesliga have played 2 rounds of game, and Bayern Munich, of 34 matches they have to play in the Bundesliga, 2 is out, so 32 is left. And in the Champions League, like the reports have it, Should Bayern Munich make it to the final, it means they'll be having 17 matches to play, and that makes a total of 49 matches. I don't see Nicolas Jackson starting 40 of those games, except Harry Kane is injured today. Except Harry Kane is injured today and is ruled out for 6 months. Which I don't see it happening, because currently Harry Kane is fully fit and in a very good form. Even if Vincent Kompany, who is the manager of FC Bayern Munich, will want to play Nicolas Jackson outside of the striking position of the attacking line in FC Bayern Munich, I don't see Nicolas Jackson benching any of those guys, because up front is Harry Kane, at the left wing is Luis Diaz, the central attacking role is Serge Gnabry, and the right wing is Michael Olise. I don't see, all these guys are in top form for FC Bayern Munich. So on that part, Uli Hoeneß is actually stating the obvious, that he don't see the permanent move happening with those kind of conditions attached to that contract, and that is just the truth. And instead of Diomansy Kamara to actually come out and address what the former president of FC Bayern Munich, who is currently part of the board member, have said, instead of addressing that issue and to see how he rally rounds and give Nicolas Jackson the confidence he needs at this point in time to be able to go into Bayern Munich and do the needful as a footballer, is beating round the bush. There's no doubt, there's no point. Yeah, at this point in time, he said what they are currently facing now is a very decisive match for the Senegalese national team. That's perfectly true, it's understandable. But the same energy you actually used to make this post on your Instagram page, the same energy you would have just used to clear the air. Quite understandable. Senegalese national team have a very decisive World Cup qualifying match to play today against DR Congo, who actually sits top of the group at the qualification position, while Senegal currently sits in the playoff zone, and the match is very vital. As such, Nicolas Jackson will not want to be distracted. I mean, that response is quite good. But the same energy you used to make this post, you would have used to reply the public if what Uli Hoeneß actually said is false. Because for you to actually say many talks but few tells the truth, we don't know who are the many that talks and who are the few that is telling the truth. If you are the few that is telling the truth, make it known to the public, state it clearly that what Uli Hoeneß has said is a lie, and that is not the condition attached to the deal. But let's not forget, it was all stated there in the public domain. And even when Fabrizio Romano broke out the news that here we go, Nicolas Jackson to Bayern Munich on loan, done deal, obligation to buy with appearances, that is, there was a condition attached to such obligation, and that is the condition that Uli Hoeneß, talking about the former president of FC Bayern Munich, has actually come out to say. So Diomansy Kamara have to actually put his head right and ensure that he's actually giving Nicolas Jackson a very good advice, because at this point in time, what is there in the public domain after that interview Uli Hoeneß actually had, I mean, it's not a good one, because knowing fully well that Nicolas Jackson has not actually kicked a ball at Bayern Munich, and the player himself has been full with confidence, talks more about Bayern Munich and how he will want to give in his best, and that is just what Nicolas Jackson needs at this point in time. So Nicolas Jackson, having met with had a conversation with Sadio Mane, who was one time at FC Bayern Munich, and we actually knew how Sadio Mane left FC Bayern Munich. And Sadio Mane actually encouraged Nicolas Jackson. And here is the conversation they had between the both of them. And Nicolas Jackson has this to say. Jackson revealed talks with Sadio Mane before signing for Bayern. We exchanged a few messages when we discussed my transfer. He told me that Bayern is a big family with a great culture of winning. His advice was simply, work hard, stay humble, and be yourself. That he says. That means a lot to me. That's just the advice at this point in time that Nicolas Jackson definitely need to move on. Bayern Munich, it's a family, like Sadio Mane have actually advised him. And all he needs at this point is to stay humble, work hard, be yourself, and be focused on your job. And what is your job? Whenever you are called upon to be part of the team, giving your best. If Bayern Munich ended up not keeping you on a permanent move, definitely, when you return back to Chelsea, other clubs will definitely come, provided your form is intact and your value, you have not actually lost your value. Okay, a couple of days ago, Daniel Levy actually stepped down from his position, whether he stepped down, whether he was sacked, or whether Tottenham actually fired him. The news is just there in the public domain, because after Tottenham Hotspur announced in their official X handle that Daniel Levy has departed Tottenham Hotspur, a day later, a report came out that that Daniel Levy was not even aware that he will be leaving Tottenham Hotspur. Invariably, that could be interpreted to mean he was fired, he was sacked, or whatever it is. But is Tottenham Hotspur for sale? That is the big question now. Let's check this report from Mark Kleinman. Exclusive. A vehicle controlled by Amanda Stevely, the former Newcastle United FC joint owner, is expected to issue a statement tomorrow saying it does not intend to make a formal offer for Tottenham Hotspur amid heightened speculations in the wake of Chairman Daniel Levy exit. The report went on to say, the no-bid statement issued after discussion with the UK Takeover panel will be subject to the usual caveats relating to the emergence of a rival offer or an invitation to bid from the board of Spurs majority owner ENIC. Sincerely, the report at this point in time is definitely making no sense, because the former co-owner of Newcastle United have actually stated that she has no intention to actually bid for Tottenham Hotspur. Not at all. But there is a clarity on that report. And here is what Mike Keegan says. Sources close to Lewis' family insist that Spurs are not for sale comes on the back of Sky's news story that Amanda Stevely will tomorrow release a statement declaring she is not launching a bid. It's a requirement of UK takeover rules, which Spurs are subject to because 13% of shares are publicly traded. To state your intention when speculation hits a certain level, you learn something every day. And that's definitely true. We learn every day. Even as human, we learn every day. But that clarity is quite actually good, because the report has actually come out to say that Spurs is not for sale. And that report came at the back of Sky News. And so far, she has no intention to actually be for Tottenham Hotspur. But at this point in time, I think all eyes need to be on Tottenham Hotspur, because Daniel Levy has actually left, and Spurs should be open to have a new chairman, talking about chief executive of the club. But what we are seeing at this point in time is report of whether to sell or not. But we'll get to know as the story, the report, and the drama unfold. So at this point, Tottenham Hotspur is in the spotlight for everyone to actually see and follow the latest happening. Okay, Bluco on Santos. When I say Bluco on Santos, I know a lot of you would think it's Andrew Santos. It's not Andrew Santos. But Bluco definitely have talks with Santos. Which Santos? Take a look at this report. Bluco, Chelsea and Strasbourg's owner, is one of the parties interested in Santos. In July, there was a meeting between the president of Santos and member of the multi-club group in the United States. It's just a conversation at this point. So Bluco, the owner of Chelsea Football Club and the majority shareholder at Strasbourg, wants to buy Santos, talking about the football club in Brazil. Santos is a well-known club in the Brazilian league, and as such has produced several big-name players from the Brazilian league. And at this point, it's just talk and it's just meeting that they have had. But Bluco are interested in the acquisition of Santos. And in my opinion, that will be a very good one. In as much as Bluco has been described as multi-club ownership, I think at this point, Chelsea Football Club is the team A. Strasbourg is team B. Brighton will be the academy. What will Arsenal be? Probably Arsenal should be the retirement team. Maybe. Just kidding, man. But it would be very good if Chelsea owner, talking about Bluco, acquired Santos of Brazil, and that will give Chelsea the lead way to actually get those raw talents from the Brazilian league. But we hope to see how that will play out in the future. So even when you take a look at the report, the image displayed there is Todd Boehly and Edgar Bali. So we hope to see how this will play out in the future. If Chelsea owner, talking about Bluco, Todd Boehly and Edgar Bali, will definitely sign will definitely acquire the Brazilian club, talking about Santos. And finally, we end on this note. Chelsea superstar or former Chelsea superstar, talking about Ramires, have actually come out to praise the young lad that are in Chelsea, talking about João Pedro and Estevão Willian. And here is what Ramires have to say. Check this out. Former Chelsea star Ramires on João Pedro and Estevão. They are two young talents with a lot of future. Pedro is fast, creative, has the courage to go for it. Estevão, we already see that he has something different, a strong personality, even at a young age. If they stay focused and humble, they will certainly give a lot of joy to all of us who support Chelsea over the next few years. That is what Ramires have to say. And definitely, we as Chelsea fans have definitely seen that João Pedro and Estevão Willian has actually brought a lot to the table, regardless of their young age, most especially Estevão Willian. Looks more like a player in his peak, talking about 23, 24 years of age. But surprisingly, he's just 18 and he's giving all of this. So thank you very much for watching, and catch you in my next video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.